What's going on, guys? Unknown Player here, and today we are going to be opening up 15 Strike Hoard chests using skeleton keys and going through all the cool stuff I've picked up. As I said in recent videos, the drop rate for skeleton keys has been massively increased, so farming them is really not as hard as it used to be, and I had a total of 19 skeleton keys the other day across all my characters and the vault and the postmaster. So I basically just went around all the playlists and just spending them on a bunch of chests, and I've got a lot of really cool things that I'd wanted for a long time, so definitely a lot of really nice rewards in this video. So of course the first place I started off was the Undying Mind Strike, where of course you get the IMAGO loop. So the first chest I opened, I managed to get the mark, the ugliest mark in the game, the kind of mossy Titan mark. So not off to a good start, but my second chest is where I got really lucky. The second time I did the strike and opened it, I managed to get the perfect IMAGO loop, the Fatebringer roll, which I made a video on yesterday. It's got Outlaw and Firefly, and also Reinforced Barrel for increased range. I pretty much talked about it non-stop yesterday, so if you want to see that video, it'll be in the description. You can see gameplay of it in action. Obviously that roll on the IMAGO loop was the main thing I was chasing for pretty much all of year 2 and all of year 3 as well. So now that I've got that, I can pretty much go around just spending my keys and all the other stuff that I'd wanted to get, but I always prioritized the IMAGO loop, and that's basically what I did in this video. So next up, I did a couple of the Omnigore strikes for the Grasp of MALOK. So my first one dropped me a weapon, thankfully, with partial refund, perfect balance, feather mag, disciplinarian, and last resort. So not that great, to be honest, a very awful roll. The next one dropped me the Omnigore bond, the dreaded bond that no one wants to get. So next up, I went to the Nexus Mind Strike, the new one, because this actually has a new piece of strike loot added into the skeleton key chest, and this is actually a Titan mark, which is very cool. It's actually the only piece of loot you can get at this current time from the chest. I feel like it might be bugged and you're supposed to get the loot, seeing as the boss is a Vex Hydra, so it seems like it should be dropping, but for some reason this mark is the only thing you can get at this current time. But this mark is definitely something I wanted for a while. It's really nice, it's symmetrical, comes down the middle. I think it looks pretty cool, and of course it also gives a bonus of Vanguard rep, so I'll basically use this as my main Vanguard loadout. So the next chest is the Blighted Chalice, and I finally managed to get the Helm of MALOK, which, believe it or not, I had never actually obtained before. I was always actually really unlucky with the strike, and it would never drop for me as an actual reward. And obviously since year 3, I'd always use my keys going for an IMAGO loop, so I never really prioritized this. But now I can pretty much go around collecting stuff, and that's exactly what I did. So I finally got this helmet, which has obviously been around for a long time, but it's finally in my collection. So the next thing is pretty similar, and this is from the Abomination High Strike, and these are the Mongrel Ogre's Grasps. Of course, these look very cool. They've got the Hive Runes and the Fogoth Chains. Definitely a really nice item that came in the Rise Vine expansion. The roll on this isn't too great. It's got Discipline Strength, only 88% stat roll, and also a Sniper Armor. So it's not bad, not perfect, but I'll definitely keep these for the collection. So the next thing was the Archon's Priest Strike, and I picked up a Stolen Will. Not really too sure why I went after this. I think it was in a playlist and it just popped up and I felt like using a key. But this one is an awful roll. It's got Grenadier, Lightweight, Injection Mold, Small Bore, and Replenish. So basically just completely useless and definitely going to get infused into something. I've already got a decent one that comes full auto. That's the main perk you want, these Stolen Wills. But still a very cool shotgun. There you go, that is an awful roll. I got one of them. Next up, went back to Omnigore and I picked up another Grasp. This one came with Danger Close, Fitted Stock, Feather Mag, Hannibal, and Third Eye. So again, not too great. I feel like the perks you can get on the Grasp are very harsh. There's a lot of really awful perks you can get. There you go, that's another bad one. So after that, I went to the Valis to Arc Strike, and I picked up the Treads Upon Stars Scout Rifle. This one came with Hot Swap, Field Scout, Casket Mag, Sword of Aegis, and Grenadier, so not too great. Also, a quick tip about the Treads Upon Stars: if you want to get the Scout Rifle and you're planning on using a key for it, always do the Valor Strike. It's the only thing in the loot tables, and you can't get anything else. You're 100% guaranteed to get this, so always do the Valor Strike if you want to get the Treads Upon Stars. So next up, I went to the Sepix Perfected Strike in hopes of getting the Bond, which is luckily exactly what I got, and another thing I wanted to collect. It's got a really cool effect in it. It's got this like Rasputin logo, and it gets like hacked and transformed into Siva. So another thing I wanted to get for the collection. After that, I went to the Wretched Eye Strike in hopes of getting the Titan mark, the very strange Siva one, but unfortunately I got unlucky and I got the Devil's Dawn Sniper. This one came with Void, which is the only difference on all these ones. They've all got the same perks, but the element changes, and it is a good sniper for PvE, of course, the high impact, but I do already have the Raid Sniper in all 3 elements, which is better than this in every single way. It's basically the same weapon, but it's got 4 in the mag and also spray and play, so it's a very good weapon, and I've basically never used the Devil's Dawn since I got the Raid Sniper, because they're basically the best weapons in PvE. They're very good, pretty much like all the Raid weapons, to be honest. So after that, I went to the Dark Blade Strike trying to get the Fusion Rifle, and again I got this one. This one came with Hidden Hand, Lightweight, Handmade Stock, Mutiny, and Army of One, so pretty good roll. So in year 2, this used to be the best legendary fusion rifle in the game. It's got really good stats, but now it's pretty much second to the Saladin's Vigil, which came in Rise Vine, is now the number 1, but it's still a very good weapon I want to have in the collection once again. And then the final 2 strikes, I went to Omnigore for 2 more Grasps. This first one is Outlaw, Fitted Stock, Feather Mag, Hannibal, and Last Resort. And the second one is Head Seeker, Perfect Balance, Injection Mold, Will of Light, and Gorilla Fighter. So not great rolls. To be honest, all of those grasps seem to be very average rolls. And I feel like it's one of the hardest weapons to get a god roll for, because there's so many bad perks like Gorilla Fighter and Danger Close and Exhumed. But even though the rolls are very harsh, I feel like it's realistic now to chase after them, and you can get enough keys to hopefully get something good eventually, and it will give you something to kind of go after, as opposed to before when it was like one key every few hours, now like super rare. So I feel like the increase in the drop rate is definitely a much needed change. Obviously I got really lucky with the IMAGO loot, which I guess makes up for it, but the strike loot seems to be very difficult to obtain, and especially god rolls for, so it makes perfect sense to increase their drop rate to kind of balance out a little bit. So personally I think the increased drop rate in skeleton keys is definitely much needed. So there you have it. That is a look at 15 skeleton keys being opened, the stuff I picked up. Of course, comment down below what you're thinking of the new skeleton key drop rate, any cool stuff you've picked up, any IMAGO loops or god rolls. Let me know in the comment section. As always, if you did enjoy the video, a like rating would be much appreciated, and I'll see you guys in the next one.